Welcome to day 5, guys. It hasn't been that bad. To be very honest with you, I thought I would hear a lot more complaining from my husband because there's hardly any meat. He has actually been saying that all of the meals are super tasty and that adding the potatoes really helps with that meaty bite in the rice dishes, and he's been really enjoying it. Like, he hasn't been complaining at all. He does ask if we're gonna have meat soon and how many more days are left of this, but every time that I present him with a meal, he's actually pleasantly surprised with it and loves it. And here's the thing, I just edited the past 2 days, and the past 2 days I've been trying to work on not using the fan as much, so I had the window behind you guys open, but you guys hear the cars passing by, and we live in a 90 zone. Like, we are right on the road and we are in a 90 zone, so you guys get to hear the cars zooming by, and I didn't even clue in that that could be an issue until I was editing, and I was like, oh my god, this is so annoying. So I'm so sorry for the last video. I am just trying to figure this out, and that's the problem with doing the editing every other day, is that as I'm doing the editing, I'm noticing the things that I, as a YouTube consumer, would not be wanting to hear. And I'm still quite new at this. We're still getting used to the house. This is my first official mini series that I'm doing here. I've got that window closed, but now it's really hot in here. So we're gonna have to find something. I'm gonna have to figure out which window in the house. I've opened the one in the living room, but if I open the ones in the kitchen, you just hear the cars too much. Even with the windows closed, you guys will still hear the cars zooming by. So we do what we can with what we have, and we shall move on because there's nothing else I can do, unfortunately. So today's lunch and tomorrow's lunch is going to be lentil soup, and my daughter is going to have whatever leftovers that she chooses she wants that day. She still has mac and cheese. She still has one of her quesadilla strips. She still likes rice. We could do rice with soy sauce and then a little side of whatever it is that she wants. She could still have some cheese. She did end up having that second hot dog last night. For lunch, I have been soaking half of a cup of lentils. Now, reminder, this is all that I have left in lentils. It's really not much. We're at the end. I don't think I'm gonna have lentils by the end of this anymore. They've been delicious, but it's been one of our staples, and it's brought a lot of protein to our diet, so these are probably gonna be gone. I'm gonna do half a carrot. I already washed it. I just topped off the tip of it, and we're gonna be using it whole. I've got 2 tomatoes. One of these was starting to show signs of spoilage, so we're going to be using both of them just to make sure that we don't have any waste. I'm going to be using half of a chicken bouillon cube, some cumin and garlic powder, and then a little bit of butter just to saute everything. Oh, and some of these peppers and onions as well. So we're going to go ahead and start on that. I'm just gonna chop up, I'm gonna turn on my burner, I'm gonna do like a medium-high heat, and I'm gonna pop a little butter in here, and I'm gonna take the easy way out. I'm gonna put everything into the food processor, because I really don't want to chop today. I don't really want to wash the food processor either, but I do want these to be in the smallest chunks possible. I'm gonna try to make the soup that I normally make. I've made the soup at least once on the channel, I'm sure. This is my mother-in-law's lentil soup. It's normally made with red lentils. These are brown lentils, but if you take off the skin of them, they look red. But on the page, it said brown. On the bag, it said brown, but these very much look like red lentils. So I don't know. We're gonna go ahead and make it with that. We normally need more carrot. We normally need onion and no pepper. I want flavor. I'm gonna pop some pepper in here and be generous with the pepper. This soup uses a lot of pepper. and some salt. One thing, I wish I had more onion. And at one point I was thinking, I wish I had green peas, like the small little green peas. I wish I had those. Those can also make a variety of meals, but for the fried rice that I'm planning on for tonight, I would have liked those green peas in there instead of just carrot and pepper. So maybe if I were to do this again, I would take 2 different bags of produce, but this is what I had on hand. So this is what was most convenient for me. I am bringing up the heat just a little bit. Actually, I'm bringing it up to an 8 because I'm wanting this to saute a lot faster because I'm hungry. It is already noon. I'm planning on going out to play with my daughter outside in the yard for at least an hour. And if I don't get this done up, she's gonna postpone her nap because we're gonna be outside, so she's gonna wanna stay outside longer. I don't want that. I put boiling hot water on top of this and just let it sit for about 10 minutes, and they've already doubled in size, so that's good. That should help reduce our cooking time. These carrots are looking good. That's where we're at. We're gonna give this a couple of seconds. I'm also gonna add in some garlic powder at this point. I'm gonna go in generously. Because normally we put in 4 to 5 cloves of garlic at this point, and I don't have those. Actually, they're looking at me on the countertop because I ordered some for when my cousin. I'm gonna call it at this point. It's been on for about 5 minutes or so. I'm gonna add in my lentils. We're gonna add in some more water. I'm adding the juice into everything, just as it is. I think I'm gonna add in 3 or 4 more cups of water. 1. We're gonna stop at 3 because that's what my pot is allowing. We're gonna turn this. I'm gonna put a 15-minute timer, and I'm just gonna let this go, and then we're gonna take out the blender and we're gonna give it a good blend with the rest of our spices. So my daughter is having some leftover mac and cheese and hot dogs from a couple nights ago, and this is her lunch. If she's still hungry after, we're gonna peel up an apple. Chicken bouillon, just making sure it's fine. I'm gonna add in a generous amount of cumin. I'm going with cumin because that's what is normally in my mother-in-law's recipe, but at the same time, I am trying to minimize the amount of I forgot the fan on. I am trying to reduce the amount of spices that are being used and repeating a lot because I don't know what you guys have in your pantry. If you guys need to add these on, or feel like you want to try it, so you end up adding these on to your meal plan, that it's still a small amount of spices that I'm using. I don't think everyone is going to have the shawarma spice on hand, but that one can be easily replaced with pretty much just about anything. Yeah, that's good. Tastes very similar to my mother-in-law's. I went a little too heavy on this. I should have done another Maggi cube or half of another Maggi cube. I like the consistency of it. It's not too salty. It's like as salty as what you would get if you were going to a restaurant where they're not very conservative with salt, but I like it. I like it a lot. I really like the consistency. It came out very similar to my mother-in-law's soup. And it doesn't taste like the other one that I made. It tastes different, which is what matters in this case because I like variety. And I think everyone else does too. I normally would eat this with either a bed of rice or a dinner roll. These potatoes need to be used up, so I'm gonna use up half of these and the other half is gonna get thrown into the freezer so that it would count as my husband's portion. I very easily still have 3 more portions in here. So I'm just gonna go ahead and have the next portion tomorrow for lunch. And then the other part will need to be frozen to count as my husband's portion. And then we'll enjoy it some other day. So I'm eating this, and I'll say that the potatoes are actually really nice in here. I've never had potatoes in this soup, but they are really, really good. And I did end up adding just a little bit of water to it, and it made it so much better. The consistency is still nice and thick. I think I added about maybe a half cup of water to this, and it is still very, very thick. So it's just an amazing soup. It's so good. I really, really want you guys to try this. If you don't have very many ingredients on hand, and especially at the end of the gardening season, lots of people that I know grow their own tomatoes. This soup is so great. It's perfect for end of season gardening like this. We're starting on dinner. I've just put a little bit of canola oil in my pan. And because I have canola oil, and I find that canola oil has like a distinct smell, I might have to turn on the fan. Why do I keep doing that? I keep turning on the wrong burner. Anyways, today is fried rice. Today was so incredibly hot. Very happy we did all the work yesterday, and we just have to put it all in a pan today and saute, because having the oven on at 400 for 45 to 50 minutes would literally be hell on earth right now. It would be so hot in here. We had the fan going at one point. I have all the windows open. Darn, I need to close that window. Give me a sec. Hopefully it didn't stay on for too long, because I have been talking a bit, and I don't know how much of this is going to get into the video or not. My husband's on his way home. I put a timer for about 25 minutes because he works 45 minutes away. So now we're starting. I've chopped up one of our carrots, and I tried to take out as many onions as I could. And we're just gonna saute those in our pan. We're just gonna saute those in our pan. Not very many vegetables tonight, let it be known. But it's a sacrifice that we are doing so that tomorrow we can have more vegetables. I'm also using the last 2 hot dogs. So we're gonna slice them up real small so that they can go as far as possible, because I don't want hot dogs in every bite. This already won't have very much in it. Honestly, this might be the least exciting one out of all of the ones that I've done so far. Other than the lunch. I wasn't really excited for the lunch that much until I made it, and then it was delicious. But you know when you know something is going to be good, it's different than when you're hoping something is going to be good. That's what's going on now. If you guys make this, put the carrots in first, wait, then put the onions, because my onions are getting a little more golden than I'd like them to be. We're going to do the egg. I'm going to cheat because I really want to use this for the egg. I'm going to dump this in here. Now, the reason why it was so important for me to use that container for the eggs was because I was trying to reduce my dishes. I need to do the dishes by hand, and so I try to reduce them as much as possible. 2 medium-sized eggs. And quite literally, just gonna scramble this like this. I have this on 2, and somehow the onions are still turning so dark. Don't make my mistake. Okay, these eggs took no time at all. They still have a little bit of runniness to them. That's okay. I don't want to overcook them before the rice gets to cook, so I'm going to dump in my rice. And I'm going to dump in a bit of the rice from yesterday. I'm going to go with about half. That seems right. This is all we're having, so I'm going to go a little more. This rice really needs to here. I'm going to add in my hot dogs right now. And I'm going to add in some garlic powder. I did this once and my husband loved it. I also did ginger powder, and he absolutely loved it. And then we mix. I'm gonna add a little bit of water to this and let it steam up for a couple seconds with the lid on. Get back in there, you little hot dog. This doesn't look too bad. It could use some peas. It could really use some peas. Break up the eggs a bit. Okay. Make sure nothing is stuck to the bottom. It's not bad. Okay. Splash of water. Pan. Lid. We still have this much rice. This will go probably for tomorrow's lunch. I'm gonna add in a bit of soy sauce. This is a new ingredient, but listen guys, I can only do so much. This is a small budget. The rice is a little salty.
Wait, I can't hear you.
Here you go. I'm taking all the eggs because I know Susu doesn't like egg. And the carrots. I'm gonna leave the itsy bitsy ones, but not the big ones. Egg. I'll leave her one egg so that maybe I can get her to try it.
Yeah.
Welcome to day 6, and today for lunch we are just eating leftovers. These are the 2 soups that are left over from yesterday. This portion is technically for my husband's portion, so we are not consuming that one. That will go and get used up tomorrow by me and my daughter, or as a side dish with tomorrow or something. She's gonna be finishing up her mac and cheese today with the few little hot dogs that are in there, and then I'm gonna be finishing this soup up. And then we'll see each other for dinner tonight. I'm making dinner. I peeled 7 potatoes. It was supposed to be 8, but one of them was bad. I have 7 potatoes in here that have been sliced up. All I did was dice them up quickly. I honestly don't have the energy today because I've been doing so much deep cleaning. And then I cut up the rest of the carrots very thinly as well. We're gonna be popping these in the oven. I'm gonna start with the canola oil today because I don't wanna forget it. We're going to do a little generous glug of that. Some salt. And this is potatoes and carrots, so both of them can take quite a bit of salt. Some garlic powder. Be generous with the garlic. And then we're going to be generous with the cumin, but not as generous. That looks fine. And then pepper. Give this a good mix. We might need to add something along the way. I need to find somewhere else to put you guys because I keep chopping off the top of my head and it bugs me. But this is as far away as I can put you guys, except for if I were to physically put you guys in the sink, which I don't like. I don't want that. Should have used a bigger bowl. I'm definitely gonna need more garlic powder. My voice is starting to cut out a lot, but I'm feeling so much better, so I don't understand. More garlic. And then I've got the oven at 400 because that is my magical number. I just feel like it roasts things so well. Anything over will just burn everything too fast, and then anything under will go, will take forever. All right, so these are pretty much done up. They look perfect. They're gonna be in until the tips get golden brown. I took out some of the onions and peppers from our one bag and let these thaw on the counter because I'm hoping to squeeze out as much moisture as possible so that I don't have to saute them beforehand, because I'm trying to avoid getting soggy quesadillas. Now, after having used up those potatoes to go with our dinner, because we're only going to be having half a quesadilla each, and my daughter's only going to have roasted bread that I'm going to put in the press because she likes the golden sides, but she doesn't like the cheese in the quesadilla very much. This is something we learned this week. So she's going to be having cheese on the side, toasted bread, and then we're going to put a few vegetables on her plate on the side, again for exposure. Welcome to day 7, where we have officially run out of food. We are on slim pickings, let me tell you. We have 4 eggs left. We have a few lentils, a little bit of rice, 4 whole potatoes, and they're itsy bitsy. And then we have this many peppers and 100 grams from this bag. Now, that being said, I don't believe that this is enough food. Maybe for one meal, but then I would have to cook both of these together, cook up the potatoes, cook up the eggs, and then the rest of the peppers. We could have totally made it happen, okay? We could have. But my husband's not here. I would have been making the meal double, and it's not enough to sustain us for a whole day. So on day 7, you need to go shopping. You need to start planning for the next week, okay? This morning, I made a smoothie. This is what's left over. We have had no water in the house because they're switching out our septic system. So I put a tiny bit of water in here, and this is the water that I've had, and I filled up our water jug to drink, and that's the water that we've had to wash our hands and rinse off dishes and cook with the whole day, because they never told me that they were turning off the water until they went, oh, hey, by the way, your water's going to be off now. And I went, oh, okay. They were having issues finding the reason why there was water coming into the pipe when all of the water was shut off in the house. There were issues that took longer. We've had no water in this house since 10 a.m., but they started work at 8 a.m. It is currently 2 p.m., so we just literally scrounged around in the freezer, grabbed some really easy air fryer items that didn't need to be prepped, didn't need to be rinsed, didn't need to be processed very much. I didn't have to wash my hands 10,000 times. Unfortunately, that's the day that we've had. But on the bright side, I did use up some yogurt that was in the fridge that's been in the fridge all of this time, and I finally had some fresh green peppers that have been eyeing me all week. These have been at the back of my fridge all week, and I was so excited to finally get to eat them. So that's it. That's been the week. Honestly, I did a little bit of research, and had we actually converted the Canadian dollars to American dollars, because the person that had posted said that they were shopping for that much in US dollars, it would have, well, on the day that I calculated, so it does change a little bit, it fluctuates a tiny bit every day, but had we actually converted the funds, it would have been about $82. So with $82, I would have had snacks included in this, and we would have definitely made it through day 7. But we went with $60 Canadian. We made it 6 days. That's $10 a day. Well, 62 if you add in that mac and cheese box. That was $62, $10, just a little over $10 a day. To feed 2 grown adults in Canada. We didn't have very much protein, but we did have a lot of lentils. These do pack a punch when it comes to protein, but meat-wise, we didn't have much. We had eggs, we had protein in the form of lentils, and we had hot dogs. Those were our main sources of protein this week. They were nice. Oh, and cheese. Cheese was also another form of protein. They were nice. Every way that we made them, they were delicious. Day 7, you would be going shopping. You'd be able to make breakfast. Maybe some omelets if you skip out on cheese one day. My husband was putting cheese on almost every meal throughout this. My daughter was having cheese on her snacks. So that did take up a lot of the cheese, but we could have potentially made omelets with maybe a side of potatoes and rice and lentils. That would have been doable completely. Could have been done. Then you fill yourself up and drive yourself to the store to go prepare for that night and the next day, because you're running low, my friend. You are running low. Well, thank you so much for joining us this week. Honestly, this was fun. This was a challenge. Again, I thank you for watching. And if you have any ideas, if you want me to try any challenges, send them my way. Comment down below, let me know, and we'll give it a shot. I appreciate every single one of you for tuning in. And if you made it this far, why don't you give me a like? Because that would really help. See you in the next video. I can't wait to see you there.